Alright, so I wanted to do a quick update on this Teac again, just to sort of continue with the updates on the progress. So I replaced those motor run capacitors after the old one I used as a replacement blew up. So I did kind of a crappy job the first time, and that one blew up obviously, so I've gotten all this rubbish torn out of there, thankfully. So now, for the updates, well, it's still playing back fairly well, just like it did when I had tested it at the point when that capacitor blew up, so otherwise it's kind of working all the same way, and it's not 100% operational, I suppose. It's still got some recording issues, and during the playback, I mean, the playback sounds fairly good, but the left channel is slightly weaker than the right during playback. And after cleaning those contacts in the relays, I still have the same issue with the recording not totally working, because the right channel still doesn't engage. And when you try to flick it into the record mode, this record indicator lamp for the right channel kind of just flickers for a split second and then goes out, and the right channel still won't engage into the record mode, and as a result of that, the right channel doesn't erase. So only the left channel is working with the record, and then for the playback the left channel's weak. So we still kind of got more issues to sort out. I think I might just mostly have to finish replacing more capacitors in at least that small board again, probably, and possibly the preamp main board in here. I've got that other spare small board kicking around, but at least for the main electrolytic capacitors it had, I think, 23 of those, and that was just the main radial lead electrolytics. And I replaced 12 of those, so it's still got 11 old ones that I should probably still replace before too long. But anyhow, I'll do a quick demonstration to show the current progress and what this thing's doing and the issues it still has. Alright, so here we go. Power button on. And I've got to turn my amp on. And then I think the overall playback output is, well, it's just going to sound weak as a result of this Akai, because this particular tape I have on here right now is a tape I recorded over 2 years ago using the Akai, and I wrote the date on here and some of the songs I used. So this was October 5th, 2012 when I recorded this particular tape using the Akai. So the output was kind of weak, because I don't think this necessarily has, this Akai doesn't really have an output level control. The potentiometers are strictly for the record level, and that's it. So kind of got to turn the amp up just because the output's weak. Try to get good levels on here. And see, the left channel's a tiny bit weak, if you can tell. But this all works with the potentiometer here. Sounds quite bright as well, so we can dial some of the treble back. Okay, here we go. So that sounds pretty good. There's kind of a lot of bass too, so let's dial some of this back. Alright, so then since I redid those motor run capacitors, I've kind of noticed some slight improvements with the fast forward and rewinding picking up speed properly now, because I'm not exactly sure how well it worked when I first replaced all the run caps the first time, but at least a bit later on I noticed the rewind and fast forward were just a tiny bit sluggish. But not too terrible, but it seems to pick up speed a lot better now. And here's the rewind. Now another thing about this particular tape, I think this was the very last tape I ever got to record on this Akai before it kind of died. So I didn't even get to record the second side at all. So there's probably just random stuff on the second side from a previous owner who had this tape, I guess. So let's see what else is on here. Boss gags. And I think the counter's still going. I've got my wide angle attachment on here, so sorry about the blurriness from that. And then I can fast forward just by hitting this. Sorry, I gotta take this stupid thing off. There we go. I can fast forward just by hitting that fast button while it's running. That's kind of cool. That's pretty loud. So anyway, I don't really know if I'll have time to demonstrate the record yet, but yeah, as I said, the right channel doesn't totally engage. The light just comes on for a split second and goes out, as I said. And also, when I record and monitor the tape playback, the output sounds kind of muffled, so that might be capacitor related as well. But just for playing back tapes this way, it sounds great. That's why I'm easy. But yeah, it's probably just some kind of capacitors within the record circuitry that make the tape monitor sound muffled as a result, because it's, you know, the whole input signal's got to feed in and then come back out through the output and playback heads and all that. And I can kind of try to show the reverse, but as I said, I didn't get to record the second side, so there's just going to be random stuff on that. And I gotta turn the output down, because as I said, the output from the Akai was kind of weak. But here's the reverse, just switching it like this. So yeah, I didn't record any of that second side. And here's this again, so it's pretty good. That's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. That's pretty damn good sound, especially for 3 3/4. I mean, even this, I recorded this on the Akai, so I mean it still did pretty well. And the Akai had this EQ switch for the 2 speeds, which I suppose this machine might do that internally instead of actually having a switch for it. But it's still pretty cool. Okay. So, I don't know what else is going on exactly, but I suppose that's pretty much where we're at with the repairs. And it's like December 16th right now. Yeah, this counter seems to work. I think it was slipping a tiny bit when I was doing rewind to fast forward the other day, but yeah, it's going fine now. Just that little plastic cover piece is missing, but that's not a huge deal. But I still really love this thing. As far as overheating is concerned, I was kind of wondering about that too with the capacitors. So the capstan motor is the hardest out of all three. I mean, I guess it's not necessarily burning hot, but it does get kind of hot, and then of course it's got a fan on it. And the hottest thing of all was by far these wire wound resistors. I almost burnt my finger on them the other day.